There are moments in life when it looks like everything has stopped. The dream you once carried with joy now feels distant. The promise God whispered to your heart years ago seems buried under layers of disappointment, delay, or unexpected battles. Maybe you thought you would be farther along by now. Maybe you expected the healing to come quicker, the breakthrough to arrive sooner, the restoration to happen last year, not one day. But I want to tell you today your story is not over, not even close. The author of your life has not put down his pen. He's still writing, still working, still orchestrating every detail for your good. And the same God who began a good work in you is committed, fully committed to finishing it. There's a verse in Philippians 1:6 that I want to place deep in your spirit today. It says, "He who began a good work in you will bring it to completion." Not might, not possibly, not if everything goes perfectly. No, he will finish it. That means the dream he planted in your heart, he will finish it. The calling he placed on your life, he will finish it. The healing he started in your family, he will finish it. Even the inner work, the strength, the confidence, the spiritual growth that started in you, he will finish it. You may feel like you're in the middle of a messy chapter. You may feel stuck between what God promised, and what you're living. You may feel like the story is not unfolding the way you expected. But remember, the middle is never the end. God does some of his best work in the middle, in the places where you feel unsure, where you feel stretched, where you feel the pressure. The middle is where faith is built. The middle is where character grows. The middle is where God shapes you so you can carry what He's preparing for you. Have you ever read a book or watched a movie where halfway through you thought, this is not going well? How in the world will this turn out good? But then somehow the ending brings it all together in a way you never expected. That's how God works. When Joseph was thrown into a pit and later into prison, it looked like his dreams were over. When Moses fled Egypt after killing a man, he probably thought, my calling is finished. When David was on the run, hiding in caves from King Saul, he might have wondered, did Samuel get it wrong? Will I ever sit on the throne? When Ruth was grieving the death of her husband, she probably never imagined that God was writing a love story that would link her to her lineage of the Messiah. The middle looked nothing like the promise, but God specializes in finishing what He starts. You may be in a pit like season right now, a waiting season, a wandering season, a God, what are you doing season? But don't confuse the middle with the end. God is still writing. Romans 8:28 tells us that all things work together for good to those who love God. Not some things, not only easy things, not only the victories, but also the failures. God weaves it all, the setbacks, the detours, the disappointments, the betrayals, into his masterpiece. Sometimes we look at one painful chapter and think it ruins the whole story. But listen, God doesn't write single chapter stories. He writes destinies. You may have had a chapter of heartbreak, a chapter of confusion, a chapter where someone walked away, a chapter of financial struggle, a chapter where life didn't make sense. But a painful chapter doesn't cancel the promise. A detour doesn't cancel your destiny. A delay doesn't cancel God's directions. If it's not good yet, God's not done yet. One of the biggest lies the enemy whispers is, "You're behind. You missed your chance. It's too late now." But do you know who was behind? Moses, 40 years in the desert. Joseph, 13 years in hidden places. David, years running from Saul. Abraham, waiting 25 years for a promise. Sarah, becoming a mother at 90. Elizabeth, carrying John the Baptist in old age. They weren't behind, they were being prepared. You're not delayed, you're in development. God is strengthening you, teaching you, shaping you so you can handle what He has promised. Some blessings require maturity, some promises require endurance, some callings require wisdom that only time can build. You're not late, you're right on God's schedule. We often think, if the opportunity closed, I failed. If the relationship ended, I lost. If the door didn't open, something's wrong with me. But many times, a closed door is God's mercy. If Joseph had stayed in Potiphar's house, he would have never stood before Pharaoh. If David had gotten comfortable in Saul's palace, he would have never learned to rely on God. If Daniel had avoided the lion's den, he would have never seen God as deliverer. If the disciples' boat had never faced the storm, they would have never seen Jesus walk on water. Some of the no's in your life are actually God saying, "I love you too much to let you settle for less than my plan." God is not punishing you, He's protecting you. He's not delaying you, He's directing you. He's not ignoring you, He's preparing you. The God who starts good works also removes what stands in the way of finishing them. We love visible progress. We love signs, confirmations, open doors, clear direction. But faith is born in the seasons where we see nothing. Think of Joseph. No updates, no angelic visits, no prophetic word each year, just a prison cell, day after day. Yet, behind the scenes, God was aligning events. A dream in Pharaoh's palace, a cupbearer remembering Joseph at the right moment, a position opening up. Think of Esther. It looked like just another appointment to see the king. But behind the scenes, God was moving pieces to save an entire people. Think of Ruth. It looked like simple obedience, gleaning in a field. But behind the scenes, God was setting up a divine appointment with Boaz. Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God isn't working. God moves in the unseen long before he reveals anything in the visible. Your blessings may already be in motion. Your breakthrough may already be scheduled. Your restoration may already be on God's calendar. A lot of people believe God can fix what others destroy, but they struggle to believe He can fix what they destroyed. You might think, "I made too many mistakes. I wasted too much time. I messed up the relationship. I ruined the opportunity." It's my fault. But hear this: God's plan for your life includes your mistakes. He doesn't just restore what was broken, He restores what you broke. Moses killed a man, yet God used him to rescue a nation. David committed adultery, yet God restored him and still called him a man after his own heart. Peter denied Jesus, yet Jesus entrusted him with the early church. Samson failed repeatedly, yet God gave him strength one last time to complete his assignment. Your failures don't disqualify you, they prepare you. Why? Because when God finishes a work in your life, He gets all the glory, not your perfection. It's not just external things God completes: jobs, relationships, dreams. He also finishes the inner work: the healing from childhood wounds, the breaking of generational fears, the restoration of spiritual confidence, the rebuilding of your identity, the transformation of your mindset, the strengthening of your faith, the softening of your heart, the renewing of your character. Just because you still struggle in some areas doesn't mean God is done with you. You're a work in progress, a masterpiece under construction. The fact that you desire to change, the fact that you want to grow, the fact that you're listening to messages like this today is evidence that God is still working in you. You haven't given up. You're still reaching. You're still believing. That means the story is still alive. The promise is still active. The transformation is still in motion. One of my favorite verses is Ephesians 3:20. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or imagine. God is not a bare minimum finisher. He doesn't barely complete the work, He exceeds it. When He restored Job, He didn't give him the same as before, He doubled it. When He blessed Abraham, He didn't give him a son, He made him a father of nations. When He lifted Joseph, He didn't deliver him from prison to freedom, He promoted him to the palace. When Jesus fed the 5,000, there were 12 baskets left over. When He turned water into wine, it was the best wine of the wedding. When God finishes something, it's always better than the beginning. Get rid of the small expectations. Let go of the limiting beliefs. God is not just going to bring you out, He's going to bring you out better, stronger, wiser, deeper, and more blessed than before. You may feel tired. You may feel discouraged. You may feel like giving up, but don't quit. You're closer than you think. The enemy fights hardest right before the breakthrough. Darkness intensifies right before dawn. Pressure increases right before the promotion. What if Joseph had quit in the prison? What if Ruth had gone back to Moab? What if David had given up in the cave? What if the disciples had given up after the crucifixion? They would have walked away right before the biggest moments. You may be one prayer away from a miracle, one act of obedience away from a breakthrough, one step away from the door God is preparing to open. Don't quit. Don't shrink back. Don't stop believing. God is about to finish what He started in your life. I want you to begin declaring this over your life. My story isn't over. God is still writing. Say it when you wake up. Say it before you sleep. Say it when the enemy whispers his lies. Say it when discouragement tries to settle in. Say it when delays try to frustrate you. Say it when fear tries to steal your joy. Your story is still unfolding. Your promise still alive. Your breakthrough is still on the way. Your restoration is still being written. Your healing is still in progress. Your destiny is still active. God is not done yet, and neither are you. I will declare over your life today, God will finish what He started. Every promise He placed in your heart will come to pass. Every seed He planted will bear fruit. Every dream He breathed over you will live again. Delays are breaking. Discouragement is lifting. Strength is rising. Faith is being renewed. Your spirit is being revived. Where the enemy tried to stop you, God is releasing acceleration. Where you felt stuck, God is opening new paths. Where you saw no way forward, God is making a way in the wilderness. Where you experienced loss, God is preparing restoration. Where you felt forgotten, God is preparing a divine appointment. You are stepping into a season where the unfinished becomes completed, where the impossible becomes possible, where the broken becomes whole, where the hidden becomes revealed, where the delayed becomes delivered. You're not behind, you are right on time. You're not forgotten, you are chosen. You're not abandoned, you are beloved. You're not disqualified, you are called. You are not finished. God is still writing. And the ending He's preparing for you will be greater than anything you imagined. If you like this message, please share it with someone else and subscribe to our channel. Blessings.